This is ChefBoyJP back with a new build for you. This is Toxic Ray Amara. Toxic Ray Amara is a variant of a phasecast build focused on doing massive amounts of corrosive damage and getting your action skill to hit silly numbers so that when you overkill an enemy, your remnant orbs multiply and deal immense amounts of damage. Let's get started with our weapons. First up, you need something of a 390 anointment. I personally like rocking with some rocket launchers for this build. You don't have much time to shoot, you're using your action skill most of the time, so if I'm going to put something down, I would like it just to stay down and float around, constantly deal damage and trigger sustainment. In the occasion I do need to shoot, I have my Kailsin and my light show. These two guns are non-essential to this build and can be replaced with any weapons. I recommend a fast shooting weapon so you can use it on demand to proc sustainment and keep yourself healed. My last weapon is a Plague Bearer. Ideally, I would like a 390 anoint on this, but sometimes this weapon can be effective as an anoint in this build, and it's a good variant to have. Up to our shield. I'm currently using a stopgap. It's a strong choice, but so are a number of other shields for this build. You can really use any shield you want. What's important to note here is the ASC cooldown reduction. This build stacks cooldown reduction, allowing you to get your 28-second cooldown on your action skill down to 5 or 6 seconds. For a grenade, I currently have its piss, same thing as a shield. You can use absolutely anything you want. What's important to note here is the ASC. Match it for whatever content you're doing. Generally, I recommend radiation because radiation will cause your enemies to explode on death, and that's only a bad thing for them. For our artifact, we're using Flesh Melter Victory Rush. Paired with some of the Mayhem Modifiers we're running in this build, it's going to give us lots of easy opportunities to stack up our Flesh Melter, allowing us to deal mass amounts of corrosive damage to any enemy. In this build, you'll be running modifiers like Drone Ranger, Buddy System, Laser Flare, all easy enemies to one-shot with your action skill, allowing you to get massive remnant orbs out there that hit other enemies. For our class mod, we're using a Phaserker. Again, this is to maximize our cooldown reduction. The important stats here are the action skill damage and action skill cooldown rate. When you're against enemies that don't have armor as their first bar of health consistently or frequently enough, you can go ahead and switch your shield to a Frozen Heart and switch your artifact over to an Icebreaker Victory Rush. This combo will allow you to constantly control the enemies around you and benefit from a powerful V2 bonus that will allow your action skill to still hit very hard without the Flesh Melter. Hey guys, here are the skills and talents. For the skills, we're going Reverberation, Blight Tiger, Soul Sap. Reverberation allows our astral projection to hit multiple enemies and get a damage bonus of plus 50% for every enemy hit. This is the goal of this build very often. You're going to want to line your enemies up, try and hit 2 or 3 enemies at the same time. It's going to allow your Reverberation to hit very, very hard. It'll allow for some massive overkill potential. Blight Tiger to make our action skill into corrosive damage, again to benefit our Flesh Melter. And Soul Sap. This allows a portion of the damage you deal with your action skill to heal you and your allies, giving us some powerful regen. First off, with the green tree, we're going 2 out of 5 into Root to Rise, giving us some extra health. 3 out of 5 into Clarity for some regen. You can shift these points around a little bit to your preference, but this is generally my recommendation. And then 1 point to Samsara for some extra gun damage and regen. Yes, there's a lot of great things we're missing out on this green tree, but there's a lot of things we need from the blue and the red tree too. So we're just coming to the green tree to make sure we're grabbing our Blight Tiger. In the blue tree, 5 out of 5 into Do Harm. This is one of the things that's allowing our action skill to hit very, very hard. 4 out of 5 into Violent Tapestry, allowing us to quickly spread our dots, constantly have dots, stack up rush stacks, and have Armageddon on everyone. And also, you get healed from the dots via sustainment. 5 out of 5 into Restless for extra cooldown rate. 1 out of 1 into Ascendant because we are using Soul Sap, and it makes it so Soul Sap, instead of hitting for 30% of the skill damage dealt, heals for 50%. 3 out of 3 into Laid Bare. This makes it so that any enemy hit by your action skill takes increased damage, pairs perfectly with this build. 3 out of 3 into Wrath. This is great for the way this build kind of fluctuates. It'll happen that you're shooting your action skill, and then you, in between, you'll shoot your rocket launcher or whatever gun you have with you. So this will allow you to maximize the time you're not shooting your action skill. 1 out of 3 into Remnant. These orbs hit insane at this build. 800, 900 million damage cap constantly. You're getting so much overkill. More than 1 point isn't worth it because it really just won't increase your damage by much. It'll increase it by about 2,000, and 2,000 on top of 900 million. It's not going to do anything for you. 3 out of 3 into Awakening to make sure our do harm is getting the maximum effectiveness. We really just want to squeeze out as much action skill damage as possible. 1 point into Avatar, allowing us to use our action skill twice and get more rush stacks. 5 points into Anima to make our status effects last longer and also to move down the tree. 3 out of 3 into Steady Hands to move out the tree and to get a little bit of extra accuracy and handling. 5 out of 5 into Temp is for extra elemental damage and extra shock damage. Pairs perfectly with every aspect of this build. 4 out of 5 into Wildfire. Realistically, you only need 2 points in here. If you want to move those points anywhere else that you like, go ahead. It's just to help you spread around your dots. 3 out of 3 into Indiscriminate. If you're coming down the red tree, it's just such a good skill, you want to take it. It's going to work with pretty much whatever you shoot. It won't work with your action skill, unfortunately, but it'll work with the rest, with all your guns. 1 out of 1 into Deep Wells, extra magazine size. We're already going down the red tree. 1 out of 3 into Catharsis, and this skill is actually largely useless. It does almost no damage, and many guides actually recommend to not use it at all. And if you listen to them, you would probably be making a wise choice. However, I opted to put 1 point in there just for the extra effect, because it makes me happy. 1 point into Conflux. Now, I actually don't run this 1 point in Conflux. I put this point here to show you guys that you should have 1, just allowing you to get more status effects on enemies and get more use of Armageddon. It's just a little extra free damage. I don't personally have points in Conflux because my phasecaster con has points in Conflux. So if you're already getting it there, it's no need to put it in the skill tree. 2 out of 5 into Sustainment. If you want to put an extra 1 or 2, go for it, but honestly 2 is more than enough. Whatever you hit with, you're instantly going to be healed back to full health. You have to remember, all our hits are minimum doing several hundred thousand amounts of damage. So just 4% of that is almost our entire health pool. And that's 100,000 would be a pretty soft hit at this level. And then 1 out of 1 into Forceful Expression to get a little bit extra corrosive damage coming from our guns. It's also going to work out perfectly with our Flesh Melter. Up next, we have our Mayhem Modifiers. For the easy modifier, I definitely recommend Speed Demon. If you want to run with something else, that's fine, but Speed Demon will perform best in this build. For medium, Healy Avenger or Freeze Tag. Healy Avenger is a little nicer because you won't be getting slowed and you won't be taking constant ticks of damage from the cryo orbs, but they both give us something extra to hit, which is going to allow our reverberation to benefit from the extra 50% damage per target. It'll also give us another opportunity to overkill an enemy, allowing our overkill to proc, also giving us a chance for a remnant orb. For our hard modifier, Drone Ranger and Laser Flare are both excellent options. They both give us something extra to hit, and they both have armor. Both very easy to one-shot. Having a bunch of little enemies floating around whatever enemies you're actually trying to kill is going to give you a lot of opportunity for overkill and for remnant orbs. And these are just free kills with your action skill. Start knocking down a couple of these and you'll just see the whole map start to disappear. For your very hard modifier, Buddy System is great for the previous reasons mentioned. Buddy System is very easy to one-shot with your action skill. Also, if you hit the Buddy System may proc a remnant orb and hit whatever it was making immune, instantly taking out both. Alternatively, you can use Not the Face. Not the Face is just fine. You don't crit very much with this build. Your action skill can't crit. So unless you're critting for your guns, you're really not going to be critting. We're not focused on those. The reason I mentioned also not the face is because Drone Ranger and Buddy System cannot roll together. You'll see right now I'm currently running with not the face, Laser Fair, Healy Avenger, and Speed Beam. Alright guys, that's it for the build. Thank you very much for watching. I'm very much looking forward to hear what you guys think about this build. Remember, if you learned anything new, if you liked what you saw, leave a like, subscribe, and feel free to comment. Thanks again and have a great day.